When you've created new blocks programs, sometimes you pick up new tricks and learn about new blocks. It's sometimes fun to go back and revisit things that you've created in the past and see if you can modify them, make them better. We can look at our race and place example and we can add new blocks and make it so that the students running on the splat cannot add to their score if they run after the timers run out. To do that, we go to the when splat 1 pressed block and we add from the controls category an if else block. The if else block has two conditions that says if, in this case, the stopwatch equals 0, which is something that we can create by going back to the math category, pulling out an equals block, and one of the blocks in the sensing category says stopwatch. So you can drop the stopwatch block that just reports the time of the stopwatch inside the left hole in the equals block. And on the right side, you can put the number 0. And you can grab the number 0 from the math category. So if the stopwatch equals 0, there's a part of the if else block that has do this if that condition is true. And there, next to the word do, you put play sound. And you can choose a sound such as the cheering sound. You can see a number of sounds in the sounds category. But there's a drop-down menu for different types of sounds. And you can find the cheer in the sports sounds category. So by putting the sports sounds into the play sound block, you can then choose cheer. And instead of playing it on splat 1, you can go back to the lights category and grab the all reporter. You can drop that all modifier block on the 1 and it will read play sound cheer on splat all, which means you want the sound to come out of all of the speakers of your splats. So that means if the stopwatch equals 0, then you cheer, but you also want to go back to the lights category and grab a light splat 1 block and light splat 1 with the color red to let people know that the game has ended and they should stop stepping on it. Now, if you want the player to get some feedback while they're playing the game, then you put it in the else category, because if the stopwatch is not equal, that means the timer and the countdown is still going and you can still collect points. So we're going to play a sound, but a different sound this time. In the game sounds category, you have a coin that sounds like this. After we play the coin sound, we're going to change all of the splat scores by 1. So we go to the scoring category, we bring out the change splat score block, and we pick up the all modifier from the lights category. We put it in, so you change splat all score by 1. And then we're going to go and get a light splat block, but we're going to make the color from the drop-down menu random color. So that gives us, if the stopwatch is 0, then we're going to cheer because the running is over. And we're going to light the color red, which means that the game is done. But if that's not the case, then every time someone steps on their splat that they're racing on, it'll play a coin sound, and the score will go up by 1, and a random color will appear to give you some feedback so that you should keep running. And we're going to make the same modifications for when splat 2 is pressed. We're going to do the if do else block, except here we're going to make splat 2 light up, and we're going to make splat 2 random colors when people are stepping on it. And if you want to add more splats, then you can do it for 3, 4, 5, and 6 and have as many racers as you want. We have a game called Capture the Splat. That's a good example of showing math blocks. We want to set up a Capture the Flag-like game where students are running to another splat that is being guarded by another team. If they step on it a number of times, we want to be able to show who wins. So we're going to set a threshold, which means if you see more than 5 stomps on one of the splats, then we should make it light up, and that determines the winner. So how do we do that in the code? We grab a when splat 1 pressed. We change the splat 1 score by 1, which would be done before. Every press adds 1 point to the score. And we can light that splat with green by grabbing that block from the lights category, light splat 1 with color green, to show that it's been stepped on. Here's where we're going to use a conditional statement, which is something that happens if you see this condition as true, then you do the code that's inside of that special block. From the controls category, grab an if block, and you're going to attach from the math block a comparison block. So you have the ability to compare numbers for equals, greater than, less than. So grab one of those less than blocks and put it on the if block right next to the word if. You're going to determine that we want the condition to be if splat 1 score is higher than a certain threshold. So you're going to go to the sensing tab, and you're going to pull out something that we can sense, which is the score of splat number 1. We put that inside of the comparison block that we just pulled out. So the left side of the comparison will be splat 1 score, and we're going to put a number on the right side, which is the number 5. And you can change the comparison or the nature of the comparison by using the drop-down arrow next to it. So if you drop down on the less than, you can use greater than or equal to, the bottom option. So now we should read splat 1 score greater than or equal to 5. Make sure you connect that to the top part of the if block so that you can now read the statement, if splat 1 score is greater than or equal to 5, it will do whatever block you put inside of that block. We're going to make it light all of the splats with red, which means the game is over. So you can, from the lights category, grab the light splat 1 with color green, change the color to red, but also from that category you have an all option. And so instead of 1, you would drop the all on top of that 1, and all of the splats turn red to show that the game is over. Now, to make this work on both splats, you can duplicate by pressing the when splat 1 pressed the top of that. You do a long press and you hit duplicate. You have that whole stack over again, and now you change splat 2 score by 1, light splat 2 with color green, and if splat 2 scores greater than 5, then light all splats red. And this will give you capture the splat.